Buenos días. Good morning. Bienvenidos. Welcome. Bienvenidos a la Congregación Unitariana Universalista de Asheville. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Asheville. Queremos que sepan, we want you to know que quien quiera que seas, whoever you are, de donde quiera que vengas, wherever you come from, a quien quiera que ames, whoever you love, estés donde estés en el camino de descubrir quién eres, wherever you are on the journey of exploring who you are, eres valioso y digne de amor. You are valuable and worthy of love. Eres bienvenida aquí. You are welcome here. I'm Reverend Claudia Jiménez, and this morning, in partnership with Joe Penno, our worship associate, Les Downs, our music director, Simon Jacobs, our AV tech, and we have a special solo that I'm excited about by Emily Dake. Together, we are offering this worship service for you, and this place is made sacred by your presence here. And today, we are doubly blessed because this is an all-ages service, and our children are welcome to be with us. They can be in service the whole time. So if there are wiggles and jiggles and a little sound, let us say amen, and we are blessed because we have children in our midst. And if we need to go outside for whatever reason, this service is projected in Sandberg Hall. But I don't know about you, I love just being in community and creating space for all of us. Because in fact, that is what beloved community looks like. So again, we are grateful for all who make this possible, our ushers, our greeters, our coffee hour baristas, and everyone who keeps this place buzzing. And because we don't want buzzing during worship, I invite you to silence your devices as we prepare to receive the gift of our centering music. And I forgot to say, it's also super special, not just because we have our children, but because we have our choir. Thank you for being here.
I am always in awe of this choir, always. You're incredible. This morning I want to invite Ezra up to light our chalice. There you go. Turn this way. There you go. Good job. Thank you. We light this chalice in memory of those who have struggled for freedom, the persistence of those who've struggled for justice, and the love of those who've built beloved communities to carry on the light of hope. And today we light an additional candle in the hope for peace. And now please rise in body or spirit and sing together once in English and then once in Spanish. We're going to do Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
Muy bien. It used to be that I would have to review the words before we sang in Español together, and now we've institutionalized some of our bilingual songs, and for that I am deeply grateful. And today, for our service, I have a children's story about somebody named Martin Luther King, and it was written by his sister. Do any of you know who Martin Luther King was? Any thoughts? Ezra?
He was a very famous man.
He was a very famous man. Kingston.
He stood up for everybody to be equal.
Amen. He stood up for everybody to be equal. And he had a couple of siblings. Do you know what siblings are? Who knows what siblings are?
They're brothers or sisters.
They're brothers or sisters. How many of you have siblings? Oh, look at that. Okay, so since all of us have had siblings or have siblings, we're going to learn a little bit about Martin Luther King from the perspective of one of his siblings, and her name is Christine. So the title of our story is My Brother Martin, and I want you, all of you, even our littles, to be listening for a prank. Who knows what a prank is? What is a prank?
A prank is kind of like a prank is another word for trick.
Thank you. A prank is another word for trick. So our story, My Brother Martin, a sister remembers growing up with Martin Luther King, by Christine King Ferris, and illustrations by Chris Saint-Pierre. So we're going to divide the story into two parts this morning. So she begins. Martin and I were born in the same room in our mom's parents' house. Our grandma's sister, how many of you have grandmas that you visit and hang out with sometimes? All right, so some of us still have grandmas. Our grandma's sister, Aunt Ida, lived with us Do any of you have grandmas living with you? Ooh, some of us do. That is so cool. Not long after my brother Martin was born, we welcomed our brother Alfred Daniel, called AD, in the same room. What do you think Martin was called? If Alfred Daniel is called AD, what do you think Martin Luther is called? ML, because Dad had the same name. They called me Christine. Like 3 peas in a pod, we grew up together. Our dad was an important minister, and our mom an accomplished musician. All right, there we go. Work took them away from home, so Grandma and Aunt Ida took care of us. My brothers and I had each other, and we were almost always up to something. Our best prank involved a piece of fur that belonged to Grandma. There was a time when, hoping to avoid piano class so they could play outside, Martin and his brother played another prank. Was that a nice thing to do? Look at what happened. What happened here? They actually didn't cut it, they loosened it. And so when the piano teacher sat down, he fell. So do you think that was a good thing to do? Yeah. It was, and do you think anything happened? Like if you were to do something like that, would something happen after the fact?
Yes.
Like what would happen?
You fall down.
You fall down, and if you made somebody fall down like that, what could happen when your parents got home?
Like they should fall down and they could like hurt their knee or the pad, they could break something.
Yes. So they didn't really think about that. They just thought they were going to be funny and play the prank, but maybe he could have gotten hurt. It seems like he's upset, but probably did not get hurt, and I'm sure the parents talked to them about it and explained why maybe that wasn't such a good idea. But anyway, for the most part, they were all good kids. ML did learn to play a few songs on the piano, and given his love for music and singing, he could have become a musician like Mom had his life not called him on a different path. We grew up at a time when our country had unfair laws allowing Black people to be kept separate from white people. So that was a long ago time, and we're going to find out what happens next when we read the second part of our story. But now we're all going to take a little break. And so I'm going to invite you, if you would like to stand, or if you want to just remain seated, to kind of wiggle your arms and your hands and reach up and maybe touch your toes. Okay, we're warming up because this morning, one of the things that we do when we are in worship together is that we make space for reflection and or prayer. And today we have warmed up because this is a time in our service when we think about things that may make us happy or sad or angry or mad, and we just kind of breathe. Everybody just breathe. We bring a lot of stuff with us, all ages. So what we're going to do is together we are going to do a body prayer. And so I'm going to show you what the prayer looks like and then invite you to move in this prayer once with me, and then we're going to do it together silently 3 times. Okay? So if anybody wants to stand up, you can do that. If you don't want to stand, that's okay. You can still do it. So the first thing we do is we find our hands, and we put our hands in front of us to find inner quiet. And then we raise our arms high to open ourselves to our highest dreams. Then we bring our hands to our hearts to affirm our inner voice. And then we extend our hands out in front of us to offer ourselves in service to others. So let's practice once more. In front of us to find inner quiet, up high to find our highest dreams, hands to our hearts to affirm the strength of our inner voice, and our hands out for service. And now we will do it 3 times in silence. So take a few breaths. Amen. Thank you. It's beautiful to see all of you and to see each other, because you're seated in ways where you can see each other engage in this prayer. And the second thing that we do when we gather after we offer some kind of prayer or meditation is we have a ritual of the stones and water. And what this ritual is an invitation for us in community to make space for the joys and sorrows that we bring with us. So we add salt to the water to represent the sadness, the frustration, the loss, the grief, any of those feelings and other feelings that we bring that weigh heavy on our hearts. And we also have petals, which are from flowers that represent the beauty that is in our lives alongside the sadnesses. So I'm going to invite you to come along the sides and get a stone to place in the water to represent your joys and or your sorrows. And we're going to invite our children to come first so that you can be seated, so then the adults can join in. So come through the sides and then go back through the middle. Is that the way we do it? Yes. Okay. And if you need a hug, we are here and we will give you a hug. Let our ritual begin. If you placed a stone in the water for a joy in your life, know that this community rejoices with you. And if your stone is for a sadness in your life, know that this congregation holds you in love and in care. And we add final stones to our water for those at home and those not with us, because together or apart, our community is one. Thank you for participating in our ritual this morning. And now it's time to finish our story. And so Christine writes that Martin Luther King and his siblings and his parents and grandparents grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. How many of you have been to Atlanta? Anybody here? Yeah, some of us have been there. And their parents tried to protect them by keeping them close to home. When we were young children, she writes, all the children in our neighborhood played together. How many of you play with your neighbors in your neighborhood? Do you have friends that you what kind of things do you do? What kind of things do you do with your friends in your neighborhood? So you have an older friend that you play with. Okay. Okay. You climb trees? And you hide. Okay, so you climb trees and you hide, and let's see what other kids do. Let's see what other kids do. I know you're not finished, but we don't have a lot of time. Okay, what else do you do?
Play Minecraft with my friend. Play Minecraft with my friend.
Minecraft with your friend. Okay, so there are a lot of things that it's a video game, thank you. Yes, we play, and here, what are they doing? What are they playing here with their friends? What are they doing? There's a little bit of baseball, and then what's on the ground over there? How many of you bicycle with your friends? Some of us do. Some of us need to learn how to bicycle. Yes, so some of us bicycle. And so they all played together, and they explored their neighborhood together. And the thought of not playing together because of their skin color never entered their minds. But one day, the cruelty and injustice that our parents tried to protect us from broke through. ML and AD went to get their playmates across the street as they had many times before, but they came home alone. The boys told my brothers that they could not play with them because they were Negroes, because they were black. So sometimes people can be mean to each other. And sadly, one of the things that as we grow up and even as adults that we learn is that in our country, we have been mean to each other because of the color of our skin. And that hurts our feelings, right? Whatever the color of our skin, when people are mean to us and they're not nice, doesn't it make us feel bad? And we have our parents, we have our friends, we have our community that holds us. You know, when we do this ritual, your community holds you in love and care, that's what we mean when people are mean to us. And you might have conversations about this after service with your parents about that history, because at any age, it is important for us to learn some of that history in our country, because we hear it, we see it in the news, people talk about it, and at whatever age we are, we can talk about these stories in appropriate ways. And so here's how this was done in Martin Luther King's house, because they were kids, and they came home feeling really sad that because of their skin color, the kids didn't want to play with them. And so Christine writes, Mom did her best to explain the reason behind it all. And Mom also gave us hope. When ML asked, why do white people treat black people so mean? She said, because they just don't understand that everyone is the same. But someday it will be better. So that's how Mom talked to the little kids about this very difficult topic. And I'm sure they had many more conversations, but we're just getting a little snippet of it, a little piece of it. And Christine writes, and I will never forget what ML said to Mom. He said, Mom, one day I'm going to turn this world upside down. As we grew up, Christine writes, this cruel system of segregation, that means that people were separated based on their skin color, continued. Our father shared stories with the congregation and during dinner about how he handled his feelings and confronted hate. Years later, ML did not forget the lessons he learned from our father and the promise he made to our mother. And look at this picture. Is ML by himself in this picture? No, he is surrounded by people. Because one of the lessons that the adults learn when we do faith formation and we talk about justice work and doing the right thing is that this is work that we do not do alone. Martin Luther King was an awesome person. He was a charismatic person. He was rooted and grounded in his faith. And he resisted, he pushed back to the meanness in community because we don't do this by ourselves. Yes?
I already know all about
That's awesome. That's awesome. I want all of you to say that. I know a lot about Martin Luther King. I mean it. Because we need to know our history. That is so important. And some of us are learning, so we have space for everybody in our storytelling. So when he was older, my brother dreamed a dream that turned the world upside down. And today, all of these years later, the struggle continues. And Martin Luther King's story reminds us that we can move together against injustice and work to make our communities more loving and inclusive. And that's the reason, how many of you are going to school tomorrow? If you go to school. That's the reason why many of you are not going to school tomorrow. Because we created this time on the calendar for all of us to reflect on the message and the legacy. That means the stories that we keep telling again and again about people like Martin Luther King. And notice that was he like a very different person from you and me? He wasn't. He played pranks. He probably got in trouble, but he decided that he was going to speak up for justice. And so that's the message of our taking this time off on Monday and gathering today and saying this is an MLK Sunday. So that is our time for all ages this morning. I thank you all for being good listeners. And now we have special music.
One million voices
And indeed, we need 100, 1,000, 1 million voices in 2026 to resist injustice and to no justice, no peace. And we do this grounded in love. Because remember, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was not only a dreamer and not only an advocate of nonviolence, which are undoubtedly an important part of his legacy, but he was also revolutionary and unapologetically spoke out against racism, militarism, and materialism. And this morning, I just want to share a snippet of a speech he delivered at Riverside Church in New York City in 1967. And when we talk about his legacy, sometimes what we want to do is go back and read some of the things he wrote and reflect on the message. He wrote, "We as a nation must undergo a radical revolution of values. We must rapidly begin the shift from a thing-oriented society to a person-oriented society. When machines and computers, profit motives, and property rights are considered more important than people, the giant triplets of racism, extreme materialism, and militarism are incapable of being conquered." He said this in 1967, and today it is more relevant than ever. And that's why it's important to remember, to be reminded of that history, that during the time of King, people were living in fear and being attacked by their own government. That is what we are seeing today. But now, we are seeing it on steroids. Because no one is immune. Black, white, brown, whatever identity we have, we are in a time of deep mismanagement and deep injustice. And we are being called to remember that people together, 100, 1,000, 1 million voices, that is what it's going to take to fight back against injustice. And another thing that Dr. King talked about was the importance of the church, because the church has a role in speaking up. The church has a role in fortifying people and providing spiritual grounding, rooted in love, rooted in justice, so they can go forth and push and move for justice, but avoid doing it with hate in their hearts. Because if there is no justice, there is no peace. But if there is hate in our hearts, how are we going to inspire people to join in the fight? And so, beloveds, we really need to be grounded in our purpose and the values that we hold as Unitarian Universalists that invite us, that orient us toward justice. So Dr. King called the church to engage in direct action and in legislative action. Both are important. And one thing that he said was, the law cannot make a man love me, but it can restrain him from lynching me. And when we think about that and we think about what's happening in our country, a lot of these laws are being subverted. And that's why we need 100, 1,000, 1 million voices showing up and saying no to this injustice. And Dr. King also called us into reading and into action, to learning and into action. How many of you know who Claudette Colvin was? She died January 13 after living a full life, a grandmother, a mother, a civil rights pioneer. She was 86 years old. And when she was 15 years old, during the time of segregation, when she was 15 years old, she refused to comply with the segregation laws. And do you know why she did that? She did that because as a high school student, this happened on March 2nd, 1955, but in February, it was Black History Month in her high school. And when she was on that bus, she was remembering the history that she learned in February about her ancestors and her people. And when she refused to follow the law, when her driver asked her to move to the back, later on she said, "I felt as though Harriet Tubman was pushing me down on one shoulder, and Sojourner Truth was pushing me down on the other. So therefore, history had me glued to the seat. That was the reason I could not move." 15 years old, learning her history, a history that today is being denied and whitewashed by our government. A history that we all have a responsibility to learn and to tell and retell, because if we don't do it, who will? That history matters. So Dr. King called us as people of faith to act locally, to act for legislative change, to learn. And he also, through his own religious practice, reminded us that church is where we go to re-energize our souls and to explore what it means to be people grounded in love in the face of so much cruelty. Whatever our spiritual practices are, they can ground us as we figure out what our role is at this moment. So 2 things I want to leave us with. Number 1 is that you don't have to do everything, because it's a lot and it can feel overwhelming. But what we are called to do is to figure out, what is the thing that I can do? And I share this quote written by clinical psychologist Jordan Fields, who writes, "Resistance is not a one-lane highway. Maybe your lane is protesting. Maybe your lane is organizing. Maybe your lane is counseling. Maybe your lane is activism. Maybe your lane is just surviving the day." Do not feel guilty for not occupying every lane. We need them all, and we need everyone. So we don't have to do it all. And the second thing that I want to leave you with is that as we do this work, we need to remember to keep joy in front of us. Activist Bell Hooks wrote, "Working within community, whether it be sharing a project with another person or with a larger group, we are able to experience joy in the struggle. that joy needs to be acknowledged. For if we only focus on the pain, the difficulties which are surely real in any process of transformation, we only show a partial picture. So may we honor Reverend Dr. King by identifying our role in co-creating beloved community for all, persisting in resisting injustice, because it's not a one-shot deal, it's sustained over the long haul. And as we do that, allowing room for joy in the struggle for justice. May it be so, beloveds. And so as we close, I chose a song that represents a little bit of what was talked about yesterday at the Martin Luther King prayer breakfast. All I need to do is share the theme, celebrating 45 years of resilience, marching towards the dream. So I invite you to reflect on what resilience means to each of us as we engage in resisting injustice. This is a song by Rising Appalachia, and feel free to get up and move if the Spirit calls you to do that.
I am resilient, I trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. 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 These times are poignant, the winds have shifted. It's all we can do to stay uplifted. Pipelines through backyards, wolves howling out fronts. Yeah, I got my crew, but truth is what I want. Realigned and on point, power to the peaceful, prayers to the waters, women at the center, all vessels open to give and receive. Let's see the system brought down to its knees. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, whoa, oh, oh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm made of thunder, I'm made of lightning, I'm made of dirt, yeah, made of the fine things. My father taught me that I'm a speck of dust and this world was made for me. So let's go and try our luck, said I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, down, down deep. I've got my roots down, down, down deep. So what are we doing here? What has been done? What gonna do about it when the world comes undone? My voice feels tiny, and I'm sure so does yours. Put us all together, make a mighty trust the movement. I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen.
It's hard to follow things like that. This is the time where we do the work of our congregation, and oftentimes we will ask our visitors who are here to introduce themselves, but in the interest of expediency today, we're not going to do that. I know there are several of you here. You're going to be looking for our connections coordinator after this, which is Trevor, and I think we're going to get a picture of him here in just a moment. Maybe. Yep, there he is. That's Trevor. Make sure that if you are a visitor, you say hi to Trevor. We've also got a welcome table out front, and the folks there are more than happy to answer any questions you have. We're all here to help you. And just reminding you, those of us who are members, that we should talk to how many people we've never talked to before? Right. All right. So our announcements run as slides at the beginning of this service. If you missed them, refer to your Thursday's e-news, as everything is described there. If you don't receive the e-news, email us at information@uuasheville.org, and Lauren can help you get on that list. This morning, however, we have two special announcements. On Sunday, January 25th from 12:30 to 1:30, the long-range planning team is hosting a town hall for you to attend after the 11:15 service. Join us in the sanctuary. We want to especially encourage our parents and caregivers to attend this town hall and make your voices heard. What are your hopes for the future of our campus? Attend to find out where we are and where we could go. Our second announcement today is from our youth. So can they come forward, please?
Good morning, UU Asheville.
I have a question for y'all. Who here likes having fun?
That's fabulous to hear, because on Saturday, January 24th, the YRUU and COA teens and families are putting on a super fun big event.
Feel free to bring the kids, bring a friend, and play some trivia, eat some food, and learn a bit about the teens at UU Asheville.
This will also be an occasion to mark the 75th anniversary of our church, which was founded in 1951. If you'd like to buy tickets, they're being sold after the service in Sandberg Hall and also at the door of the big event.
So join us on January 24th. We'd love to see you there.
Thank you.
I'm going to make one plea today, too, really quickly, and that is for our safety team. We don't need bouncers and bodyguards. We just need eyes and ears. So if you are interested in being a part of the safety team, please see me after the services, and I'll be glad to give you some information. So our community plate recipient this month is the Food Connection. You can donate by check, but be sure to write community plate in the memo line, and you can also donate online. The work and ministries of this congregation are entirely supported by the generosity of our members and friends. We celebrate your generosity each Sunday with music and thanks. You make us possible, and we give thanks for you. And now the offering will be gratefully collected. can't think of a better problem to have than having so many people here that it takes this long to do the collection.
So I think while we wait, it's time for a stretch. Another stretch. We're going to do a social justice stretch, all right? So here's the deal. Find some space. We're going to touch our toes to reach the ground to get the power of the grassroots. So touch your toes. We are going to reach our arms to the sky for inspiration. We're going to stomp our feet to stomp out injustice, and let's just do that for a while because it's going to take time. And then we're going to use our hands to wipe out white supremacy. Woo! And then very carefully, sway your arms side to side and joyfully move in the winds of change. All right, great stretching to prepare you for what lies ahead. You may be seated.
Who needs the why? You know. For the gifts of your presence, your time, your wisdom, and resources, we are grateful.
Broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we can walk it out and move mountains. We can walk it out and move mountains. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up, high like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. Silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting harder to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll bring the world to its feet and move mountains. We'll bring the world to its feet, move mountains. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other. We will rise, we will rise, we will rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up, high like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you.
So, beloveds, as we prepare to go forth this day, let us rise up as many times as we need to. Because remember, 100 voices, 1,000 voices, 1 million voices together. Together, we can be a force for good. We can rise up. We can. Go in peace, go in love, and before you go, bless each other. Let us sing our song, Longtime Son, and bless each other as we prepare to rise up. And as you prepare to leave, a special thank you to our kids who hung it out. We were supposed to be shorter, but it didn't go short, as I hope. 2 announcements before you go. Number 1, our ice resistance training has been rescheduled. If you're on the mailing list, you will find out about the particulars. And I invite you to hold Reverend Audette in your thoughts and prayers. She is answering the call to go to Minneapolis to witness for justice with many clergy from throughout the country. So may they all be safe. Let us hold them in our hearts and in our thoughts.
Claudia, when is she going?
I think she's going on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Okay. Blessings to all of you. Have a wonderful day. Vayan en paz. Thank you, choir. Thank you.
Thank you. signs will say east to South Florida.
Exact service I needed today.
Hey, y'all. Or whatever. I haven't decided yet. A message of love. Yeah. That'll be good.
Good to see you here.
I see. Well, I see.
That's right.
Yeah, I can sit. I can out my back door.
Chocolate wood or hate feeding the chickens. I got a heat lamp in for the chickens now.
Well, I figured you did.
And as long as the temperature's getting, and they love it. They don't want to come. They don't want to get up mornings now. No.
And they're laying now, too. They had left off laying for several months. Now it's only been, what, 2 or 3 weeks?
No problem. Yeah, maybe less than that. Well, not long. They just started laying again.
Yeah.